At the Office, Cleveland's home for sports talk that never clocks out. From the latest headlines to heated debates, we're diving into everything sports. It's your hosts, Noah and Matt.
Cleveland! Welcome into the Office, the show where we talk all things sports, talk all things Cleveland sports. I'm your host, Noah, joined with my co-host, Matt. Matt, how you doing, man?
Oh, wonderful. Excited to be here. Got another week of Cleveland sports to talk about. What could be better?
Your monotone voice does not deliver the excitement I am ready for, but that's totally fine. You could join us here at the Office too with YouTube, Facebook, X, wherever you are watching us from. Leave us a comment. We will get back to you. We love talking with the people and keeping the conversation going here at the Office. Phone number 216-260-3433, 216-260-3433. Call or text the show. Feel free. Remember, real quick, for those longtime viewers of the show, there is a live show coming to Martini's Wednesday this week at 6:30 p.m. where me, John, and Eric will be breaking down inside of a bar, talking Cavs, Browns, Guardians, hell, whatever comes up between now and then. We will be talking about it, so make sure you come through, check us out. We really appreciate it. We really appreciate Martini's for the opportunity to do a show live and in person. Matt, you ready to get into guards ball, baby? Because baseball is back.
I've been so excited for an episode like this. Not saying any of the other ones sucked, but baseball, I love baseball. This is my jam.
110%. I get it, brother. Let's get into it because first we had breaking news as the weekend started. Tanner Bibee signs a contract extension through 2029. That contract shapes up and looks like $48 million, club option in 2030. Year one on the extension, $4 million in 2026. Year two, $7 million in 2027. Year three, $10 million in 2028. Year four, I think I did that right in succession, $21 million in 2029, and then a $21 million club option. Matt, what was your reaction? Obviously, we're both positive about Bibee staying with the Guardians long term, but what was your reaction when this news broke?
Yeah, obviously it's a stud. You're excited to, see him be locked up in Cleveland for a long time. And I think it kind of cemented, my hope in believing that the front office was starting to be more willing to spend some money when they extended Jose. Granted, I know it wasn't, as much money as Jose was necessarily worth, but it was a lot of money for a small market team to spend. And you're kind of seeing that again here with a guy that, in a few years definitely could be into an $100 million contract range. And we're signing him to stay in Cleveland for, 5 more years potentially. It's a move that says, we want to be a serious franchise, not just a money maker for our owners, which is something that should give all Cleveland baseball fans even more hope. We all kind of thought it with the Jose extension. And this, to me, is just kind of, setting it in stone. We're trying to win for real.
Yeah, it made me excited as well to see us spend some money. Granted, we got some more moves that happened throughout the weekend that we'll get into in a second. But to see us spend some money to bring a guy that we've developed in and keep him for long term, it excites me. It gives me hope for some actual money to be spent by this team that has been notoriously cheap. So I'm really excited about it through and through. You got anything else on Bibee, man?
He's been one of those guys that's been there for the team whenever we needed him. A lot of pitcher injuries last year, and it's awesome to see the team kind of turn around and commit to him the way he seems to for us.
100%. Barry Northrop says lock up Quan now, and I am 100% with you. We will see what happens there. We've talked before that Matt's inside sources may or may not believe that will happen, but I hope you're totally right because I love me some Stephen Kwan. But you know what else I love, Matt? There's something else I really do enjoy, and that is D&D Meadery. D&D Meadery, mead made right here in Northeast Ohio by two twin brothers, Derek and Dominic, bringing back the craft of mead to the States, baby. Mead, honey wine, for those who don't know. It is a fantastic, delightful, I don't know even what the word that was, drink. We were sipping it this weekend, having a good old time before we went out to the bars. Use code @the-office CLE for 5% off. Buy 2 bottles. Get yourself a shot glass like this one right here. Don't put it in the dishwasher like I did because it messed up the logo, but you get the shot glass as an additional for buying 2 bottles nonetheless. That is @the-office CLE for 5% off. Matt, what are your thoughts on D&D Meadery, man?
I mean, really, my biggest thought is I'm super sad it's not in my wonderful cup right here, but I will have to fix that shortly after the show. I mean, remember to use the code, save some money, get a great drink. How could you? It's a win-win. You can't lose.
110%. And speaking of not losing, please drink responsibly. Don't make a dumb choice. Matt, let's move forward into not losing, though, because the Guardians have not lost the weekend because they made a fantastic addition, trading Tyler Freeman for one Nolan Jones. What was your reaction to this trade? We low-key kind of fleeced them, but give me your breakdown overall, man.
First initial reaction, I was so confused. I felt very blindsided by this trade, to be honest. Didn't expect it in the slightest. At first, I was honestly kind of upset. So I was like, Tyler Freeman, had a lot of, sort of iconic moments for the team in the last year. But then I started to think about it and the potential talent we're bringing back in Nolan Jones is something I think this team needs. A left-handed bat could be huge for us if he can return to that 2023 form.
Yeah.
And then I thought the part that was, hilarious, the best about it to me is when you take a step back and look at, kind of the butterfly effect of this trade. We, in effect, traded Tyler Freeman for Juan Brito and Nolan Jones. That's not bad.
No, it's not bad at all. You mentioned a little bit about Nolan Jones over the last 2 seasons. Nolan Jones, when he played that 2023 season, had a great year. 270 batting average, 62 RBIs, 352 on base percentage. I mean, he had 20 home runs. He had a great year as a lefty, something we need in our batting lineup, right? Then he went through those back injuries last year. Only played 79 games compared to the 106 he played in the year before. Everything was down. 3 home runs, 227 batting average, 28 RBIs. It makes sense with the injury. If we can get Nolan Jones of the past, that one season after we traded him, we just basically used the Rockies as a minor league developmental system for a couple years and said, give us back and you can have one of our other projects that hasn't been working out to the fullest extent. So I'm really, really excited. Where do you think he slots in? Do you think he's platooning in the right field with John Kenzie? What is that? Okay, that's my thought process as well. But go ahead, break that down a little bit.
I don't see a world where you can sit John Kenzie down and be like, hey, bud, unless something happens, you're going to be riding the pine a lot. I mean, after the year he had, you can't, bench him. Obviously, you make this trade. You're not making this trade for no reason. He's definitely going to play. I wouldn't be shocked to see him get 60, 65% of the timing right. John Kenzie getting the other split. But I think really what it's ultimately going to come down to is pitching matchups, and it'll be a day-by-day decision between the two. I mean, I personally love John Kenzie. I mean, some of the playoff heroics he did will forever be cemented in Cleveland history.
If you look deep and dark on the set over my left shoulder right now, you can see a couple of cards next to the Browns football and stuff like that. One of them is the John Kenzie playoff home run, and I had to buy that Tops Now card because I was at that damn game, man. So I'm with you 100%. It'll be interesting to see how they rock this. We're going to talk a little bit about starting lineup and starting pitching after the ad break, and we can get into it a little bit more there. But bringing back Nolan Jones got me excited. It confused me at first. I was out at one of the many bars that we venture to on the weekends here in downtown Cleveland with my roommate, Deshaun. Deshaun is an even bigger baseball head than arguably either of us. And I was like, Deshaun, we just traded for Nolan Jones. And he's like, wait, like our Nolan Jones, like the Nolan Jones from before? And I was like, yeah, from the Rockies. He's like, that's crazy. So the reaction was a little like, oh, and then you saw it was Tyler Freeman for Nolan Jones straight up. The head scratching wasn't because why did we bring him back? The head scratching was because what the hell were the Rockies doing? Was basically the long short of what was going on there.
I think one of the funniest things from this whole story is the fact that they FaceTimed each other.
Did they
Like,
really? I didn't see this.
oh my God. So obviously they're friends, Nolan Jones and Freeman, from their time in Cleveland, right? And so
Right, of course.
they both had heard respectively from their agents or their club or whoever, hey, 99% you're involved in a trade today. Just a heads up, we're letting you know. First thing you do when you find out this life-altering news, call one of your buddies up, talk through it with him.
Right.
So they called each other, and they were like, started to put two and two together, but they obviously weren't positive. And then the news broke, and they called each other again, and they were laughing hysterically, like, "Oh my God, dude, I can't believe this! No way!" Like,
that's funny. I didn't see that story. I saw there's a clip that this must be what the clip was. I had a busy day at work today. So there was a clip floating around on X, and it was an interview of, I think, Tyler Freeman or something like that. So that must have been what it was. But I missed it. And I'm glad I could hear the story here live on the show. But speaking of the show, we're going to take a brief moment to go to commercial break. When we come back, we are going to be discussing potential starting opening day lineups, the official 26-man opening day roster, as well as some pitching concern that I have. We'll be back at the office after these commercial messages. And we are back at the office talking a little bit of guards ball on a Monday night for you guys. Baseball season is upon us. It starts on Thursday. Me and Matt are absolutely stoked, excited. We're wearing our cute little matching, not really matching, but you know what I mean, Guardians jerseys for the show. You should check out some other merchandise, though, at theofficecle.com, where we sell hats, mugs, t-shirts, you name it, we make it with our logo on it. Support the boys here at the office. Really helps us grow the brand we got going on. I'm sipping some Gatorade out of my coffee mug right now because I just came back from the gym. Make sure you hit the follow button and the subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. Helps us grow the brand a ton. Matt, we're talking opening day because it is upon us, brother. It is time to talk starting pitching, opening day roster. Opening day roster got posted today. Give me your breakdown of what we see in front of us right now.
I think it's pretty much, as to be expected. There's really nothing super notable looking through this. I think some of the big things to look at, which we kind of knew coming in today, Joey Cantillo getting that last bullpen spot. I think he absolutely deserves it. There's no reason he shouldn't be in the majors. He showed us last year he's got the stuff to do it. And then I think really the only other big thing, and we have this slated to get into here, is the little star down at the bottom of position players saying the 26th man is still up for grabs.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a second. We had a question from @Cavalier 0000 or 0101, excuse me, longtime listener of the show, asks, what are your guys' projected starting lineup for opening day? So what do you think 1 through 9 is going to be? So I'll start with Quan. I will move to, give me a second, Jose at 3. What else are you thinking, Matt? Let's do this together live. Let's group this together. You got the notepad, so we could just do this off the hip right now.
So I'm honestly, and this might be a struggle here. I'm of the opinion Jose should be batting 2 this year. We played with it a little bit last year.
I think Jose slots better too. I think they're going to still have him bat 3 like always. Hear me out for a second. The starting lineup for today's game: Steven Kwan at 1, Jose at 2, Lane Thomas at 3, Slam Tana at 4, John Kenzie at 5, Manzardo at 6, Arias at 7, Bo at 8, Brian Rocchio at 9. The only wet thing I could see flipping here is maybe Lane at 2 and Jose at 3.
I could see that, but that's the lineup right there. I like that a lot. Obviously, it
That's
depends on who's playing that day and all that, but
yeah, I mean, if you were talking Thursday's lineup, fresh, starting everything. By the way, Gavin's pitching today against Arizona. 9:40 p.m. start. We'll just be wrapping this up in time for you guys to go check that out if you have the MLB Ballpark app, I think is what it is. By the way, where is the TV deal? We still haven't gotten a TV deal announced, and baseball starts here in a couple days for local Guardians games. I digress. That is what I think we got going on. I agree with you. That's what I'd want to see. Jose at the 2 makes me a little excited this year, and nice little change of pace in terms of always seeing him in the 3 hole. But we were talking about that 26 spot on the roster. Matt, what do you think is going to happen with that 26 spot on the roster?
I would be pretty shocked if it's not Angel Martinez. I think Gabriel Arias is too much of a question mark to not have, I don't want to say his replacement, but his backup on your hip ready to go. I think, obviously the Jimenez trade shows we're confident in second base of the future. Obviously, we have a lot of young guys on the way. But I think, just the way it's shaping up, and honestly, the spring Martinez is having, it makes the most sense to have him pick up that roster spot. And even, he can be a borderline utility man.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised he wasn't on this list. The big, oh, wow, was Will Brennan getting sent down to Columbus. What were your thoughts when you saw that news when I sent it to you earlier today?
To be fully honest, I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but that kind of, to me at least, was blatantly obvious, just waiting on the paperwork to go through once we made the trade for Nolan Jones.
Which
it
is
kind of
valid.
felt like,
No, I agree with you. That grouping of like Will Brennan, Tyler Freeman, some of the even Schneeman a little bit. I know Schneeman's kind of played everywhere though. So this grouping of just a lot of random utility players, it kind of felt like the writing was on the wall when you bring back a lefty that fits what's going on with this team wholeheartedly. But Matt, you wanted to talk pitching a little bit. So here is your starting pitching rotation. Shout out to Sticks for getting moved to the bullpen, so we at least get to attempt to see him play some baseball this year. What are your thoughts on the starting pitching rotation? I'm a little nervous if you ask me. What do you think, man?
I feel very confident looking at that. And then, going even beyond just looking at that, when you think about halfway through the season, you're adding Shane Bieber and John Means into that starting rotation. That's a nasty looking starting rotation, in my opinion.
So I agree with you when we add Means if Means stays healthy, and when we add Bieber if Bieber stays healthy. Gavin Williams, to me, I've talked about it. We've talked about it before on the show. I've written articles about it. Shout out to Fans First Sports Network. Make sure you go check out the website to read some of our articles as well as some of our constituents' articles. Gavin Williams had a shaky year last year, had some minor injuries, that kind of thing. Has had a strong spring training, 2.82 ERA. I could see him having his little breakout this year. Luis Ortiz, in all of the different trades we did during the winter meetings, had a strong year last year, 3.32 ERA. Matt, do you know what his ERA has been in spring training?
Spring training doesn't matter, doesn't count.
But do you know what it has been in spring training? I agree with you. It's preseason. It's always an asterisk.
I do not know. No.
You want to take a stab at it?
5.7.
11.66 ERA in similar innings pitched compared to all the other starting pitchers going into this season. 11.66.
Let me ask you a return question, my good friend Noah. What was the outcome of the NFL season where the Browns went 4-0 in the preseason?
I totally agree with you, but in terms of having a cause of concern, you get where I'm going here. Ben Lively, He'll be all right. He pitched 3.81 last year. He pitched 3.38 in spring training. Logan Allen, we'll see what happens there. Logan Allen's also another scary one for me. Uh, he's shown flashes before, but yet last year he had a 5.73 ERA. Spring training 1.89 though. So we'll see. What makes you so confident in this starting lineup though?
I really feel confident in the pitching staff, as in, the coaches and trainers around it. They always seem to find a way to pull the best out of the pitching we have, no matter who it is. And even when it feels like, a pitcher's having the worst game of his life, it feels like they managed to, find a way to stop the bleeding just in time to, save the game, give us an opportunity at least. Like, it's just one of those things that it always feels like it works out for Cleveland, and I don't see it changing. To me, sitting at it from the outside looking in, we upgraded our staff over last year, and then it's going to get a turbocharged upgrade about halfway through the year, roughly. We don't have, timetables yet. I'm
Right.
starting to believe, honestly, Bieber's going to be back earlier than anybody's really talking about yet. Everything coming out of Arizona is 120% positive on him. I don't know. I feel like Cleveland always does good in the pitching department. And one thing I'm honestly really excited about, you touched on it there. I'm almost positive I've said it multiple times on this podcast. Sticks to the bullpen is going to be an elite move. He's going to be able to give us 2 to 3 innings out of the pen. It's going to be good as long as he can get his head back to him.
That's a big if, because he was having a rough spring training, 7.5 ERA last year before he got sent down, 5.11 ERA. I was going to ask you what your opinion is on Sticks getting sent to the bullpen. I knew you just breached on it. I'm really curious to see what this turns into. I feel like this is unfortunately the last-ditch effort to kind of figure out how to save his career with the Cleveland Guardians. I don't mind him going to the bullpen. He has been an elite pitcher before, or bar none, almost elite. I don't know how else I can really phrase that. So seeing Sticks get another shot doesn't bother me, especially when it's a long, long MLB season. And in the bullpen, maybe this is where we unlock him to start trickling back in that confidence that made him a good pitcher, arguable, top tier number one when Shane Bieber was gone for so long. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited nonetheless for the season to kick off in Kansas City on Thursday. Hopefully they announce a TV partner so that way I don't have to pay the $100, even though I gladly will. It's a drop in the bucket for as many games as you get to technically watch. Ballpark Pass was announced finally, so I'm excited about that officially going to opening day. Matt, there's one last question on everybody's mind. There's one last thought that everybody is thinking. What is your win-loss projection for the Cleveland Guardians in 2025?
I think the Cleveland Guardians are going to win 140 games.
What just came out of your mouth?
140. Yeah.
You're that confident in this team this year?
No, but I do think I think if, the cards fall right and, everything plays into the hopeful but not unrealistic mind of mine, this is very well an 75 to 80 win, if not a little bit more team.
Okay. So you're 75 to 80 wins. Do you think they make the playoffs?
That honestly depends on the rest of the division. I think the way we make the playoffs is a division winner. And
right.
I could see us having some pretty tough competition in that department this year.
I think, and this is the confident optimist that I am, and it could bite me in the butt because this team has gone up and down with its streaks. 1 year it's really good, and next year it's mediocre. We're due in terms of that stride with their streakiness to be mediocre this year. The win-loss line, the line is at 82.5. I think that's a damn good line. But I think with the pitching additions that they have made in starting pitching and the second half boost they could get to the season, we made a good trade in terms of getting Nolan Jones, who, in my opinion, I think is going to get back to what his form was in 2023 now that he has rested up and will continue to rest up from his injuries. Win-loss line 82.5. They won, I think, like 86, 87 last year. Do you remember off the top of your head?
I wanted to say 87.
I think it's 87. I think they do just a tad bit better. And this is with the caveat that Shane Bieber sticks around. They go 84 or 94, 67 with Stephen Vogt, the manager, sticking around, manager of the year 2 in a new system with some fresh arms, new batting coaches. Bo Naylor has shown some flashes. We've seen some flashes from some of the other players that could be good hitters for this team. If the Guardians can stay their course, Matt, you laugh at me a little bit now, but me and you 6 months ago, we were feeling so confident about this team entering a window, and I'm not letting trades of 2 fan favorite players stray away from the fact that I still think this window could be here. Now, I could eat my words, and I will totally eat my words if it gets to that point. But if things go right for this team this season, there's no reason they shouldn't be at the top of the AL Central, because they did it all year last year against the same teams that are going on. Yes, I know there's some additions that have happened around our division, but I'll stick with feeling confident for now. How much do you disagree with me?
I guess I kind of want to phrase it like this in my head, from where I'm coming from and just the way I think about it. And I'm not even saying, like, what you said, 120% accurate, on par. I think that is, maybe a little bit low for what I would call like the peak of this roster this year. Kind of the way I'm looking at it, and I'm not even trying to like say, with my roughly 500, maybe a little bit under or over at prediction, that, we're closing that window that we talked about. That window is still very much there. I think between the 2 trades that you mentioned of Jimenez and Naylor, it kind of opens the door for a 1-year step back, almost like the swing you talked about where we go up and down every year. And then there's just so many games last year that I can think about that we won on an error, or we won on a 30-mile-per-hour single that just split the gap, And I don't see nearly as many of those things going our way. Not saying they couldn't. I think you're kind of on our peak of the season, and I would absolutely love for you to be right. I could see this team being one of the best records in the league. Guard ball just has to keep working for them, which, it's proven it works for them. So maybe I'm wrong.
I hope you're wrong. I hope I'm right. I hope Barry Northrup in the comments with his 92 and 70 is right as well. I might have said 74 and 69. I meant 68. I might have typoed that in my notes if I said that, so I apologize. Obviously, you get what I meant. None the less. Matt, you got anything else on your season predictions before we take this to final thoughts, hot takes, bold predictions, blah, 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 blah?
I think I'm good to go.
Cool. Well, let's hit it. Random thoughts, hot takes, final thoughts, whatever you want to call it. Matt, what is your random thought or hot take of the week?
So this is actually very interesting, coming off of our last point and me being slightly down on the Guardians. And my hot take is, if what Noah said is accurate, the truth, what happens, and we have our peak season the way we could, and I obviously really hope we do. Obviously, that means we win the AL Central and we're going to the playoffs. And if that is the case, we're going into the playoffs and we're going to win every series in 1 or 2 games over the minimum and win the World Series.
I hope you're right. The Dodgers still scare the hell out of me, even if we make it all the way to the World Series. But I hope you're right. Give me not 1, but 2 championships for Cleveland in the year of 2025. That sounds pretty damn good to me. My hot take, is more of a random thought. It goes more into the random thought bucket. Matt, I sent you this little nugget of information over the weekend as well, and I wanted to highlight it. And that is this article about Travis Bazana. I'm just going to quote it for those who are listening to the audio only version of the show. When the Guardians assigned him to Lake County last summer, Bazana texted members of the player development staff to ask about the team's advanced scouting process. He asked if he could have access to their reports. He researched his teammates, studied their strengths, and asked about their development plans just in case he noticed anything he could assist with once he saw him in action. Noah Olson on this show over this weekend has just found himself a new favorite player, because that just gave me goosebumps reading it for probably the 10th time. And I just love the work ethic, the flow that this kid has. I think he's going to do amazing things in the coming years, if not maybe even this year. Maybe that's my hot take. Benzana at second base by the end of the year. That can be a hot take. That could be my hot take. But I just really wanted to give him props and a shout out, because that was an amazing little tidbit that I read. I apologize. I think it was Zach. Let me see if I can find the name real quick. Zach Messels, Meisel. That was his article, so I wanted to give him credit there. He posts a lot about the Guardians, so make sure you go give him a follow, at least on X. It would help you understand the team a little bit more. Matt, you got anything off of that Benzana article you want to mention real quick, or anything else you want to say to people before we get out of here?
I do actually have a question for you off of that. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying this is my standpoint, but I'm also not saying it isn't my standpoint. And I want to get this out of the way first. I love Benzana. I think he's going to be a phenomenal ball player. I'm not personally actually worried about this. However, and honestly, it could mostly be in the way that, little snippet is written. It almost comes off a little arrogant to me, no?
Why do you say that?
And again, I don't think this, but I could see it being in a way of like, oh, I'm the number one pick. I'm so good. I'm going to help these guys out that are in the minors. I'm better than them already. Like, I don't think that's the way he's thinking about it, but I could almost like.
I think that's your pessimism, Matt, taking the best of you right there, because I took it as a guy who knows he's not going to spend a lot of time in Lake County because he was a number one overall pick, and that's just the reality of the situation. He's too good to be down there that long. Offering to be a resource to his team as he can be while he's there to help continue and grow and develop what is a historied franchise that has been just this close so many times, and wanting to push it over being just this close to being there. We did it. World Series is ours. So.
No, I mean, I think you're absolutely right. I just kind of wanted to play devil's advocate for a minute more than anything.
Nope, that's totally fair. That's totally fair. I love the discourse. I love the show. Just a simple reminder for everyone out there, we have a live show, Ashtabula, Ohio, Martinis, this Wednesday, March 26th at 10 p.m. Come check us out. Come have a martini. Their burgers are fantastic, so we will gladly be chowing down on those before, during, and after the fact. Matt, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Anything else you got to say to the people, even if it's just goodbye? Thanks for a good week.
Show up Wednesday, see the Wednesday crew. It's always a good show. Hope everybody has a great week. And the Guards are going to go on a 20-game win streak to start the season. Hot take number 2 of the episode. You're welcome, Noah.
20-game win streak. I'm here. Book it. Opening day against the White Sox here in Cleveland, April 8th. Absolutely electric. Cannot wait. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to having a couple brews with Matt. What, 3 brews?
Oh, what's that? This is number 3 in a row?
Oh, yes, it is. It's 3rd opening day in a row that me and Matt will be in attendance together. Looking forward to it. Nonetheless, thank you for tuning in to At the Office, a Cleveland sports show. We really appreciate you spending your Monday night with us. Make sure you hit the like, comment, subscribe, hit the download button if you're listening to the audio-only version of the show. And until next time, Cleveland, stay up, stay blessed, and we'll see you later.